Tonight, a new disappointing jobs report after months of growth in the face of the pandemic.
The Biden plan is working.
The president calling for trillions more dollars in spending as the American economy heads into the fall.
Plus, aftermath. Ida's devastation still coming into focus as the president tours Louisiana to survey the worst of the damage.
All this and more tonight on Faith Nation.
A swing and a miss for job growth in America. Welcome to Faith Nation. I'm Jenna Browder.
Good evening. I'm John Jessup. Disappointing new economic numbers. Could they spell trouble for the future as employers added a paltry 235,000 jobs in August?
Projections had that number at more than 700,000. This is the Delta variant discourages some people from flying, shopping, and eating out. CBN News senior Washington correspondent Tara Merchner is here with the numbers. Tara?
John and Jenna, the unemployment rate dropped to 5.2%. It was 5.4% in July. August job gains are far short, though, of the previous 2 months when widespread vaccinations allowed the economy to fully reopen from pandemic restrictions. President Biden is urging Americans to look at the big picture.
What we're seeing is an economic recovery that's durable and strong. The Biden plan is working. We're getting results.
But the latest jobs report shows a stretch of recent robust hiring may have slowed in August, with only 235,000 jobs added. Economists were forecasting employers would add about 750,000. Even that far below the 940,000 picked up in June and July.
The number of jobs added well below expectations, well below the pace of the previous couple of months.
With vaccinations on the rise, the hope was more people would be eager to take jobs. And with the $300 a week federal unemployment supplement set to expire next week, the Fed and others speculated that more of the unemployed would be back to work.
There's no question the Delta variant is why today's job report isn't stronger. I know people were looking and I was hoping for a higher number.
This report expected to give clues about how strong hiring will be for the rest of the year. Many of the economists optimistic that September would kick off a consistently strong job market call the report disappointing.
When you look under the headlines, you see that leisure and hospitality, which includes bars and restaurants, previously at the leading edge of job loss and more recently at the edge of jobs recovery, basically produced a big zero.
Meanwhile, some job listing websites say the number of available jobs grew in August, led by such sectors as information technology and finance, in which many employees can work from home. John and Jenna.
All right. Thank you, Tara. Well, joining us now is economist and the chairman of FreedomWorks Task Force on Economic Revival, Stephen Moore. Steve, always great to see you. We just heard in Tara's piece, the president said today the Biden plan is working and blamed the slow job growth on the Delta variant. Steve, with job numbers like the ones that are out today, some would disagree with the Biden plan working. What do you make of the bleak job picture?
Well, look, these numbers, I think, are being discussed as more negative than they were. We also had 100,000 revision from the last month. And so, you know, they were decent numbers, but they did fall less than what we wanted. And it, excuse me, it is a slowdown, no question about it. And I do think some of this is due to the Delta variant, no question about it, that people were a little bit more reluctant to go outside and go shopping. But it also is very true that, you know, today we have 10 million job openings in the United States. And you look at the areas where jobs either didn't increase or declined. I mean, we lost construction jobs. Every construction crew in America is looking for workers. We lost jobs in the, as you just mentioned, leisure and hospitality. I mean, I've traveled from coast to coast. Every bar and restaurant has a help wanted sign. What this is telling me is that workers are not going back to work. And I do believe a major reason they're not is because of these high welfare benefits, unemployment benefits, food stamps, and all the other programs that are basically incentivizing people to stay home.
To your point, Steve, do you think that we'll start to see employers, boost incentives to get people to take jobs or come back, or maybe, offer positions that are work from home?
Well, first of all, let me mention that on Labor Day, which is 3 days away, these extra benefits go away throughout the country. So that's a good thing. That'll be a positive thing. I think we'll see a bounce of employment once you stop paying people an extra $300 a week for not going back to work. But there's a whole panoply of benefits that, not just unemployment benefits, the $300 a month per child payments, the free health care, the expanded food stamps, all these things are encouraging people to stay home. Now, the answer to your question, Jenna, is absolutely yes. The way we work, how we work, where we work is going to change, I think, for many, many years, maybe permanently as a result of what happened with the pandemic. I think people are much more likely to work at home, telecommute, not go into the office as often. I'm doing this by Zoom. It used to be I'd have to go down to a studio, and I look forward to the days I can come in the studio and see you guys. But, yeah, everything has changed.
Yeah.
We look forward to it as well, Stephen. Even though we've seen the disappointing jobs picture, at the same time, though, unemployment dropped to 5.2%. This is a pandemic low. What do you attribute this to, Steve?
Well, look, I think that the most important thing that's happened this year by far is not what Joe Biden has done. I think it's obviously the vaccine. And I encourage people to get vaccinated. Studies show very clearly you're 100 times more likely to be harmed by the virus than from the vaccine. So people over the age of 30 should definitely get vaccinated, although people should make their own decision. But guess what? That vaccine came about because of Donald Trump and Operation Warp Speed, an amazing program. And incidentally, in about 2 or 3 weeks, the Nobel Prize winner is going to name the Nobel Peace Prize winner. And I believe that should go to Donald Trump. Trump has saved millions of lives across the world with this vaccine that a lot of people thought was impossible. And I think we're going to get this Delta variant under control, and that spells, I think, a good rest of the year for jobs.
All right, Stephen Moore with FreedomWorks. Great to see you. Thank you, Steve. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
Okay, see you guys. Take care.
Meanwhile, people in the Northeast are hoping to get some relief after the flooding caused by Ida. And tonight we know of at least 49 deaths caused by the storm.
While southern states are picking up the pieces from the hurricane, disaster relief groups like CBN's Operation Blessing are on site leading humanitarian efforts. CBN's Brody Carter is following late developments with the president's trip to Louisiana today. Brody.
Well, John, Jenna, the president touring Laplace, Louisiana, one of the hardest areas hit by Hurricane Ida. While meeting with local leaders there, Biden not missing a beat, using the deadly hurricane to push his $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill.
It seems to me we can save a whole lot of money and a whole lot of pain for our constituents if when we build it back in a better way. And it will create, and I realize I'm selling as I'm talking too, but it'll create really significant good paying jobs, not $15 an hour jobs, but jobs at prevailing wage, and it generates economic growth.
Air Force One landed in New Orleans this afternoon. The president then surveyed the damage of the Category 4 hurricane, saying it makes a huge difference to be on the ground and see the damage firsthand. Right there you can see him shaking hands with Louisiana Governor John Edwards. Now here's the specs of the storm. 100-mile-an-hour winds pummeling Laplace, just west of New Orleans, where 12 people there were hospitalized, including 7 children. More than 800,000 people still in the dark in that state. Homes and businesses remain submerged in floodwaters, others completely demolished. Now the area suffering upwards of tens of billions of dollars in damage. The raw power of floodwaters seen here as this basement wall caves in from the sheer weight of the water. Ida's aftermath still blankets the Northeast. Flood warnings remain after record rainfall left all 5 boroughs of New York underwater. Many parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey also unrecognizable after 7 tornadoes ravaged homes there. Looking southward, eyes in the sky show lines of people waiting hours for gas to run generators for their darkened homes. As desperation grows for water, electricity, and fuel, CBN's Operation Blessing is on the ground, helping the helpless, with special attention given to the elderly, poor, and widowed during this time. They've set up operations in Houma, Louisiana, bringing in truckloads of water and these emergency Home Depot flood buckets. Now they need volunteers to help with the mounting work orders to repair damage, and it's keeping hope alive.
We're ready. We can coordinate day volunteers right now, and there's a lot of information on the website for www.ob.org. God is there. You know, my heart is encouraged and my faith grows. And it's a positive experience. It changes you inside, which is always in the right direction.
Operation Blessing plans to stay in Houma up to 4 weeks before assessing the situation further north and sending yet another team to tackle fallout from the remnants of Ida. John, Jenna, back to you.
Important and much needed work. Thanks, Brody. Well, by now, you should know these folks. Stick around for these smiling faces. Our Faith Nation political panel is up next.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel, now available at cbnradio.com.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
You know, I think as a father, it's my job, you know, to lead, just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Welcome back. Health officials are urging the White House to delay a planned rollout of the COVID-19 booster vaccine. That puts on hold a White House plan to start offering booster shots for the Moderna and J&J vaccines, though the process for the approval of a Pfizer booster remains on track. Federal regulators now warning that they may not have enough data to recommend boosters for those vaccines by late September, while the White House says it will await a full review and clearance by the FDA.
To the battle over abortion. Amid a firestorm over the heartbeat law in Texas, today the president affirmed his support for abortion.
The most pernicious thing about the Texas law, it sort of creates a vigilante system that's almost un-American, what we're talking about. Not to debate about, I respect people who think that, who don't support Roe v. Wade. I respect their views. I respect them, those who believe life begins at the moment of conception and all. I respect that. Don't agree, but I respect that. I'm not going to impose that on people.
Now President Biden is asking the Justice Department to explore ways Texas women can work around the state law. The law bans abortion in the Lone Star State 6 weeks into a pregnancy. And joining us now for our Faith Nation political panel, Julia Manchester, political reporter with The Hill, and CBN's chief political analyst, David Brody. Let's start right there with abortion. Julia, it was the only topic the president took a question on today at the White House. It's pretty clear this is something he wants to talk about.
Absolutely. I think this is something a lot of Democrats want to talk about. And while the ruling earlier this week, or the Supreme Court's move not to block that Texas law was clearly a victory for the pro-life movement here in the United States, I think it hands the Democrats and liberal voters quite a bit of enthusiasm ahead of the 2021 and 2022 midterms. You've actually seen that the Women's March announced today that they are holding a nationwide rally in a number of cities to help recruit people to run for office, to mobilize their voters. You're seeing Democrats like Joe Biden, Terry McAuliffe running for governor in Virginia, really seize upon this issue. So the question is, how do Republicans respond? And while the pro-life Republicans have been very vocal about this is obviously important to them, you're seeing a lot of the establishment, whether it's party committees, candidates running, staying silent on this and trying to avoid questions because they know this is incredibly controversial. Look, the majority of polling shows that late-term abortion is not very popular across the board in the United States. However, this is the first 6 weeks of pregnancy. This is where abortion tends to be, where voters tend to agree more with abortion if it's needed at this point in the pregnancy.
David, along those lines, President Biden described the Texas law as un-American or almost un-American, adding that the Justice Department will be reviewing options to try to stop it. David, the dividing lines are pretty well defined, but if this really is a debate, as the president says it should be, what do you think he should be doing to engage and support that discussion? Or do you think Americans and certainly politicians even really want a debate?
Oh, they want to debate it. And Julia's right. This is going to be a political firestorm leading up to 2022. But un-American and a vigilante system, let's be clear about what the law does, okay? This is not about the government going and rounding up women as it relates to the heartbeat of a baby and that you're in violation and therefore we're going to put you in jail. And that's not that. I mean, do we understand what the law does? It allows people to sue abortion providers. So this is not about the government rounding people up because they want to have an abortion within 6 weeks or 8 weeks. That's not what this law does. So can we have some truth? And the other part of this is that everybody talks about it being controversial. Well, here's what's not controversial: the science. And the liberals always love to talk about follow the science. Well, you know what? Come on, let's play that game. Let's follow the science. I mean, the science is very clear as it relates to ultrasounds and the heartbeat, and we can go through the list, and it goes on and on about what happens to an embryo in the womb, the fetus in the womb. So, look, this is going to be used for political purposes on both sides. But this idea that Joe Biden is itching to talk about it because what he doesn't want to talk about is Afghanistan and a lot of other things going on right now.
Yeah. This bill also, it allows really anyone to sue anyone who helps a woman get an abortion. So the person driving a woman to a clinic. On another topic, a new Washington Post ABC News poll shows wide support for President Biden's decision to end the war in Afghanistan. That same poll, though, finds a majority of Americans, by a margin of 2-1, disapprove of how he handled the U.S. military exit. Julia, how costly are numbers like this?
You know, at this point in Joe Biden's presidency, I would say it's relatively costly. That being said, we don't know what's going to happen between now and the midterms. I think the midterms will really be the big test for that. It's unclear as to how much Republicans are going to message on Afghanistan ahead of the midterms. You know, sources I've been speaking to last week have said, yes, in this moment, we are absolutely going on the offensive on Afghanistan. It's an easy issue for us. The images coming out of Afghanistan are there. It's easy to pin this on Biden. That being said, though, number one, we don't know what's going to happen before the midterms. And number two, Republicans are telling me they're more apt to focus on issues that are going to impact Americans on a day-to-day basis. So that's the economy, crime, and also in some portions of the country, what's happening at the border. So right now, it's going to be damaging to the president's image, but we don't know what's going to happen next year.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. We are plumb out of time. Julia, David, thank you so much, and have a great long weekend.
Thank you. You too.
And we'll be right back.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? you can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
To make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone.
I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com to get your copy today.
Welcome back. No surprises here. Americans are rethinking the type of job they want post-pandemic. New research from Prudential revealed that 48% of workers are considering a job change and 53% would switch to an entirely new industry. Christian polling company, the Barna Group, launched a 6-week Bible study called Finding Your True Center, designed to help Christians discern their calling both professionally and in the ministry. The Bible study, along with an online self-assessment tool, help Christians answer why they do what they do and inspire purpose in their work.
And joining us now is Pastor Tim Yee, author of Finding Your True Center. Pastor, welcome. Great to have you with us this evening on Faith Nation. So let's talk about why this Bible study is so relevant right now. Why do you think the pandemic caused so many people to rethink their careers?
It looks like we're having some issues with that interview. We're going to go to break and hopefully come back. We'll be right back.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
On the home front.
Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans.
Wednesday at 3 on the CBN News Channel. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
All right. Well, we are back with Pastor Tim Yee, author of Finding Your True Center. Pastor, we had a little bit of a technical issue there, so it's so good to have you with us this evening. Let's talk about your Bible study and why it is so relevant right now. You know, before we went to break, I was asking you, why is it so important right now, and why are so many people rethinking their career paths in this pandemic?
I think people are focused on what is most important in life, you know, whether it's looking at the world in turmoil, their personal lives in turmoil. What is most important? How should I spend my time is really people are thinking about and praying about, and we want to help with that.
Pastor, those numbers that Jenna mentioned earlier, were you able to gauge how much career moves affected the jobs picture for employers? Early on, we kept hearing people wouldn't return to work. I wonder how much of what you found was really an opportunity for some people not only to rethink their careers in the pandemic, but to actually act on it.
I think a lot of people did. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but we do know this. For Christians, for those who find high satisfaction in their work, they are twice as likely to find high satisfaction in their lives. And so there's a direct connection between satisfaction in work and satisfaction in your overall life. And that's where the True Center experience and using the True Motivate assessment really helps people decide, this is how God has wired me, how he's made me. I want to live into that more so I could bless others and also enjoy the way that God has placed me on this earth to serve.
Yeah, there's a lot of purpose in labor and in working. True Motivate is a personality assessment tool designed to help people discover their calling. There are a lot of other personality tools out there, you know, tests like Myers-Briggs, Enneagram. What makes this one different?
Well, those are all wonderful assessments. I use them myself. But what I found so unique about True Motivate, it gets to the why. Why do I do what I do? And it's a great complement, actually, to other assessments. But this is really special to get at the heart of your stories and how God has wired you. And when you discover that, you find your sweet spot. You find where you're in the zone. You find what makes you come alive. And if you can align your work, whether paid or unpaid, more around the things that make you alive and that you're good at, you're going to be helping more people and you're going to be more personally satisfied. That's longer work longevity. It's more personal satisfaction. It touches on a lot of aspects of life, and we think we could help a ton with that.
Pastor Yee, in the less than a minute that we have left, this Bible study, I know, helps Christians discern both their professional calling and their ministry calling. Is this geared towards adults in the midst of a career change, or is it helpful for students and retirees and, as well? And how would you encourage those considering a career change right now?
Wow, that's a great question. I'll tell you this. I've used it with 15-year-olds and I've used it with 85-year-olds. It works for everybody because guess what? Everyone's made in the image of God. And God's got a wonderful plan for people. We just need to yield to him and listen to his voice. And this is going to help people discern how God has shaped them. I would recommend people get the curriculum. It's a 6-week experience. You could do it with a group or by yourself. And with that, get the True Motivate assessment. There you go.
Unfortunately, we are out of time. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And that wraps us up for this evening. We hope to see you again next weekend. Have
a great weekend.